Welcome to this explainer. Okay, let's just jump straight into a scenario that is, well, it's deeply and sometimes painfully relatable. Picture this. You're lying awake. It's 3 a.m. You're staring up at the ceiling and your mind is just absolutely racing. You're terrified, running through every single possible financial disaster that could strike the second the sun comes up. Your car could break down. Your laptop might finally just give out. Or maybe you get hit with an unexpected, massive vet bill. We have all been there, right? Feeling the literal weight of the world on our shoulders. But what if I told you there is a very specific mathematical threshold that virtually eliminates these midnight anxiety sessions? Today, we're going to explore why a specific amount of savings fundamentally transforms exactly how you navigate your life.
Because it isn't just the 3 a.m. wake-up calls, is it? I mean, I want you to picture being at the grocery store. You're standing there in the aisle, doing that exhausting mental gymnastics to figure out if you can afford the name brand cereal, or if you gotta buy the generic version that kinda tastes like cardboard just so you can make rent. Or think about when your friends text you to grab dinner, and you have to invent this incredibly creative excuse to skip a $25 meal, just because you can't bring yourself to admit that it would completely wreck your budget for the week. This is the exhausting reality of living paycheck to paycheck. Every single financial decision is this careful, high-stress calculation, and every unexpected expense just feels like a total catastrophe.
When you're sitting at zero savings, you are constantly in a defensive crouch. Every move you make, taking a new job, moving apartments, even just going on a weekend trip, it all feels incredibly dangerous because one wrong move leaves you completely financially devastated. But contrast that with having $10,000 saved up. Suddenly those exact same decisions, they feel manageable. You shift from playing defense to making proactive, confident choices about your future. You aren't just surviving anymore. You actually have a rock-solid foundation.
Part 1. The biology of $10,000.
$10,000. A lot of people think financial milestones are just, arbitrary numbers made up by wealthy people. But this exact number triggers a massive, fundamental change in your personal risk tolerance. The safety net of 10 grand doesn't suddenly make you reckless, but it does give you the permission to finally ask for that promotion you've been putting off, or to confidently invest in a new certification course without feeling like you're literally gambling your life away.
And get this, there is actual hard science to back that up. Neuroscientists have found that reaching this specific level of financial security actively reduces cortisol. And if you didn't know, cortisol is your body's primary stress hormone. I mean, really think about that for a second. Hitting $10,000 literally changes your brain chemistry. It doesn't just change your bank account, it actually changes how your central nervous system responds to everyday challenges.
So let's look at exactly how this biological shift plays out in the real world. Say your car's check engine light comes on. With zero savings, a $500 to $3,000 repair is a countdown to absolute financial disaster. You are in full panic mode. But with 10 grand in the bank, it shifts to just a mild annoyance. I gotta take the car in. The same goes for job loss. You go from immediate, heart-dropping panic to having 3 to 6 months of breathing room to find the right job, not just the first job that hires you. And a medical emergency? It shifts from ruinous debt to a manageable inconvenience. The visceral contrast here is just staggering.
Section 2. Redefining the emergency fund. Now, the absolutely crucial point here is something called the emergency fund effect. Financial experts will be the first to tell you that an emergency fund isn't actually about the emergencies. No way. It's about the peace of mind knowing you can handle them. Here is a super fascinating fact for you. Most people who reach this $10,000 milestone, they never actually spend it on emergencies. Instead, simply knowing that money is sitting right there buys them literal better sleep at night, deep, unshakable confidence, and the sheer power to just walk away from bad deals because they are no longer desperate. Because they aren't blowing it on disasters, they're using it to unlock opportunities. Having this kind of financial foundation completely transforms your money into a tool that creates options. It lets you invest in education, start a business, pack up and move to a better location, or negotiate your salary with way higher confidence. Imagine hearing about a $2,000 certification course that could boost your annual salary by 10 grand. Without savings, that is an impossible dream. But with this foundation, it's an obvious, easy investment. It's a total no-brainer.
Part 3. Becoming a saver.
Now, I hear you. You might be listening to this saying, saving even $100 a month feels literally impossible right now. And you know what? That struggle is completely valid. But the reason it feels so impossible is often just how we approach it. Most people treat saving money like a crash diet. They make these extreme cuts, treat it as this miserable temporary sacrifice, and then they eventually burn out and go right back to their old habits. But the people who successfully reach that $10,000 mark, they adopt a permanent long-term mindset. They literally become a different type of person, a saver. And that allows them to effortlessly notice new opportunities to save, making the whole process just compound with ease over time.
Let's break down the math real quick just to show you this is absolutely possible. The average American is spending over $3,000 a year just on coffee and eating out. Now, we aren't saying you have to completely stop enjoying your life, forget that. But if you redirect just 1/3 of that spending, which is about $1,000 a year, straight into your savings and keep the other 2/3 to still go out and have fun, you're going to hit your $10,000 goal in under 3 years, just by tweaking that one single habit.
And let's be totally honest about the timeline here. That first $1,000, it is brutal. It requires significant lifestyle changes and just massive willpower. We really want to normalize that struggle. It's hard, but the second 1,000 is noticeably easier because you've already formed the habits. By the time you're working on your 5,000, the process feels almost automatic. You have built the muscle.
Section 4. The domino effect of $10,000.
Once that saving muscle is built, something really magical happens. Have you ever heard of decision fatigue? It's the mental exhaustion caused by making thousands of tiny micro-decisions every single day. Things like, should I buy the generic pasta? Or can I actually afford to grab a sandwich for lunch today? When you reach that $10,000 milestone, you instantly eliminate 90% of those survival-based daily financial calculations. You're no longer choosing pasta based on your bank account, you're choosing it based on what you actually want to eat. The sheer amount of mental energy you win back is just incredible. And all that freed up energy leads directly to this: breathing room. When you aren't constantly gasping for financial air, you can finally think strategically. Instead of always reacting to the latest crisis, you actually have the bandwidth to notice, oh, hey, my car insurance renewal is coming up, which gives you time to shop around for better rates. You can strategically optimize your phone plans without panicking over small switching fees. You move from a reactive, stressful life to a highly optimized, strategic one.
Because here is the core truth of this entire explainer. The difference isn't income, it's mindset. The person with 10 grand saved is actually way closer to financial independence than someone with zero savings who earns twice as much. I mean, we all know that one perpetually broke person making a 6-figure salary, driving a super fancy car, but completely drowning in stealthy debt, right? Compare them to the person making $40,000 who has mastered keeping their money and built this safety net. Keeping money, that is the true masterclass in wealth building.
And keeping that money, it fundamentally alters the hidden social dynamics of your life. When you aren't financially stressed, it literally cures the embarrassment of avoiding social situations just because you can't afford them. It completely eliminates that quiet resentment you might feel towards your more financially stable friends. It gives you the confidence to drop $50 on a networking event, an event, by the way, where you might meet someone who offers you a job paying $5 grand more a year. Plus, studies actually show that removing money stress makes you less irritable and so much more present with your family.
Which brings us to our final and honestly, perhaps the most important thought for this explainer. The person you become while saving your first $10,000 is infinitely more valuable than the money itself. The discipline, the identity shift, the quiet confidence, that is your true wealth. So the question is, who will you become? If your bank balance isn't exactly where you want it to be right now, hey, don't panic. Just start small, $25 or $50 a month. Stay consistent and just watch how this psychological shift transforms your entire world. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I really hope this empowers you to start building your foundation today.